Welcome back to another episode of Mystery Garage. Today is a Sunday episode, and the original intentions of Sunday episodes was to do things on the lighter side. Today's going to be exactly that. It's a beautiful day outside. We're going to say goodbye finally to the Blue Rabbit. I did finish up some things off camera, so I'm going to show you that. Also received a couple parts that I want to show you. Lots going on today, so let's get stuck into it. Welcome back, you guys. Like I said, to the unfortunate day where we got to give this car back has come. I want to show you what I've done off screen. I also want to give this car a little cleanup. It's been in the shop for a little while. It's covered in dust. Obviously, we did a bunch of fab work and that sort of thing. So I want to give it back to the owner where it's nice, fresh, cleaned up, that sort of thing. So I think we'll get to that. But let me show you first what I've done to the car. Oh, the blue ABA. I'm starting to really love this car. You know, I've put a good enough amount of work into this car that I've started to make a connection. And for those of you enthusiasts who have done that, it's just a moment where you kind of know the car well enough that you really start to kind of fall in love with it. And I'm kind of getting to that point definitely with this car. Lots of changes still to come though. I'm giving it back to the owner. He's got some work planned for it. He's going to get rid of those signals that are in the grille, put on some Euro bumpers. Continue to move this project forward. He's going to put new wheels on it and all that kind of thing. But for now, I've done my part. It's going to go back to him to take care of the rest. So let's take a look at kind of what I've done. If you follow me on Instagram at Mk1 Build, you'll know that I cut out the bumper holes. He does want to put bumpers back on. He's got a new set of Euro bumpers that he's going to throw on the car. Also, while it's been in the shop, I got to work on cleaning up the wiring. There was a bunch of wiring hanging down. He does have all the parts or most of the parts to finish out the dash. So he's going to take care of that. Earlier on, I think in the first episode where we visited this car, I did make mention that this does have a CE2 wiring harness swap. So this is the CE2 harness out of a Mark II, which makes a lot of these motor swaps plug and play. So the dash wiring currently is set up as a Mark II Golf Jetta sort of style. So a lot of the, or some of the electrical needs to be modded over and that kind of thing. But this is a really easy way for those who aren't super technical with their electrical knowledge to be able to do a ABA swap or a VR6 swap or really anything that falls into the category of CE2 wiring, because it is plug and play for the most part into the back of this fuse block. So if you have a Mk1, you're looking to do a motor swap, electrical maybe isn't your strong suit, I would suggest, although you do have to have some electrical knowledge to be able to swap a CE2 harness into a Mk1, but you just have to adapt the body harness a little bit more, and the engine swap becomes a little bit easier. But anyway, cleaned everything up. I kind of put everything where it needs to go so the owner knows where the electrical stuff belongs. Other than that, I'm going to do a clean up in the interior once we get it outside. I'll show you the back of the car real quick. So in last episode, we did the relocation of the battery box. Here it is in its final state. As you can see, I plated over it. It's sealed from underneath. So even though I just kind of more or less tacked it nicely all the way around, it is fully sealed, airtight. I sealed it to the battery box. You can see right there. So there is no outside air coming in. It is sealed down to the car as well. This area, like I said before, was flimsy lit before. This is rock solid now, which is great for the stiffness of the car. Everything I was going for, more or less. I'm going to leave the rest of the cleanup to the owner to figure out what he wants to do. I would suggest, which I will to him when I drop it off, is to carpet the whole back of this car and just cut out where the battery box is so everything's really smooth and clean. So we did a ton of work on this car start to finish. You know, we did a bunch of little things, bunch of big things, new fuel system, new battery box in the back, new exhaust system, cleaned up the wiring inside, cleaned up some of the wiring in the engine bay, fixed a shifter issue he had early on, adjusted the e-brake, Did a bunch of welding on the back, patching and fixing that issue with the whole beer keg fuel system and everything that was in it. Cut his bumper holes back in. Ton of work done, but this car has gotten a little bit of dusty being in the shop and dealing with all the fab work and that sort of thing. So having said that, I'd love to pull this car outside right now, do a full detail, a full clean, give it a wash, run it through its heat cycles a few times. It hasn't had a heat cycle since we put in the new exhaust system or the new fuel system, so I'd like to run it through a couple heat cycles. You know, show you guys the car outside in its final state and get it ready for the new owner. So let's get to work. So now we're gonna let it run for a while. So it open here. We'll let it run through a couple heat cycles, or at least one good full heat cycle. And we'll start to worry about cleaning this car up, because it is pretty filthy. All right, as you guys saw, car is all warm. It is time to get to washing it. All right, car's all clean. Let's take one final look. So that about sums it up for this rabbit, but I can guarantee you this won't be the last time you see it. This is a cool little project. The owner's got a lot in store for him to do to the car. Like I said before, new bumpers, wheels, a bunch of aesthetics, get the dash all finished up, get a lot of the little things finished up on the car. But I can pretty much guarantee this car will be back to the mystery garage at some point. I really starting to love this car. This is a pretty cool little build, and it's starting to change my mind on the ABA, that's for sure. Before we say goodbye, one final exhaust note. Cool little project, but that's it for now. But before we end the episode there, I told you I had something else I wanted to show you. Now, back when we were doing the Jetta episode on the Sundays, I said I had something coming. Just yesterday, the box came in from Bosnia, so let's take a look at what I got. Oh, there we are. This baby came from Sarajevo. Pretty excited about it. Let's take a look. Boom, there we are. Full Euro Jetta front end setup. I am super stoked on this. I've always wanted to put this on a Mk1 Jetta. You know, our American ones came with what I consider the quad headlight grille to be not so aesthetically pleasing. So here we are, single hella headlight setup. You can see it's hella original. Awesome setup. Like I said, from Sarajevo, Bosnia. Super happy about this. It took a little while to get here. Actually, a little while. It took a long while to get here, but nevertheless, super stoked on this. So in the coming weeks, no doubt, that headlight setup will find its way onto this Jetta. And we're gonna also do the rear bumper tuck as well. So lots more to come on this car, but not quite yet. If you're following me on Instagram at Mk1 Build, you'll see about a week ago I posted that I was thinking about selling this car or parting with it. I'm not in love with the idea, but ultimately, you know, I gotta make some space, gotta free up some budget. So this is a car that I had as a project car quite a few years ago. I ended up getting a lot of work done on it, but then it made time for me to sell it. I sold it, then I saw it in the local marketplace for sale again, so I bought it back. But I need to make space, like I said, and free up some budget, so I listed this car locally for sale. The way it looks like it's just a parts car, so I got a ton of messages about, you know, can I buy this, can I buy that, can you cut off that sheet metal, this sheet metal. This car is way too good to sell for that. So I'm actually going to make it back a roller in a coming episode, so that way we can actually put it in the hands of somebody who can do something with it. I have all of the sheet metal. Obviously these fenders don't go with it. I have the whole rad support, a whole bunch of stuff. I got suspension and everything to make this car a roller again. It has about a half interior in the car, lots of workable stuff. It comes with papers. Again, unfortunately guys, if you know, this only can be really sold locally to me. If you're watching this from the US or you're watching this you know, from some other country in the world, unfortunately, I'm looking to part with this car locally, but it's a really good starting point. It's a 1980 Manila Green Euro Rabbit, so it was made in Europe. Awesome car, has a lot of potential, but for me, you know, it's time to free up some space and free up some money to throw in a budget of one of our other builds. But for now, expect to see this in the near future. But I couldn't possibly end the episode there, because when one project leaves the garage, now we have a space. Enter this baby. Until next week, guys, thank you very much. If you don't currently subscribe to this channel, highly recommend that you do. Lots of stuff coming at you. Till next episode, take care.